Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
We are going to start going through our VPSs and take a look at how different pairs are doing. We see NZD JPY took a swing trade this week. NZD CHF did not take a trade. Euro GBP did not take a trade. Oops, that's not my VPSs. Let's go over here. Cloud Trader 9. We can see that AUD CAD did not take any trades. We can see that Euro NZD right here is not in any open trades right now. GBP CHF, we had nothing. NZD CAD is up 2.5% this week. I can ignore that one. That's a testing thing. There we go. USD JPY, we have nothing going on. Right now, AUD JPY, we are 0.34% in the floating profit on a buy trade. We go over here to AUD NZD and you can see we are in 6% drawdown. Nothing much here on an AUD NZD buy trade. AUD CHF, we are not in any trade, but we are on a buy 4. And, you know, if we go take a peek here, we enter after 5 after Wednesday. So we're actually right around our entry on GBP or AUD CHF here. If this just goes a little more, we'll take that trade. You can ignore that one. USD CHF, we are in 0.22% floating profit on a USD CHF trade. We are also in floating profit on a CAD JPY trade right now on swing trades GearBox took this week. So pretty exciting to see these trades that GearBox has been taking this week. We are in some trades. We definitely got some trades going on many pairs this week. Even though it wasn't supposedly supposed to be a big event week, CAD CHF, we are now floating. AUD NZ or AUD USD. We are right now in a trade. We're in a little drawdown, pretty much just at the entry almost. Looking here on this buy trade. And coming over here to USD CHF, we are in floating profit as well. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer on this call. There are some liquidity providers this weekend. There are some major events going on with CHF pairs. So any CHF pair, Swiss franc pair, I would highly recommend if you can close out your trades on these pairs today before market close that you absolutely do so. There are going to be some major events, which you'll probably hear about. I know there's going to be some brokers sending out notices about this. And the brokers are going to protect you. There's a potential Swiss franc black swan event. I'm going to be sending some more alerts in my Telegram channel today about it. But all Swiss franc pairs on many brokers are actually going to be having leverage lowered to 1 in 10 to protect customers in case of a black swan event, which is, you'll get more news on this later. Many brokers will be sending out emails. I've been hearing about it. So I'll be sending out some notices as well on my channels to make sure anyone trading with Swiss franc pairs is looking to close out of trades today that they can. Even if it's a tiny loss, I'd probably do it, because if you margin call at 1 in 10, you're going to close out anyways. GBP USD, we got nothing this week. GBP NZD, we have nothing this week. GBP JPY, nothing this week. GBP CAD, no action this week. GBP AUD, we are still in a nice period of drawdown here. It seems we've even railed some stop losses. Let's take a look. Yep, we took our first stop loss recently. You can see here, took a, a nice $30 stop loss. Nothing crazy. You can ignore these numbers. This is from different trading. That's what the MyFX books are for. Some of these accounts are old trading accounts that I've had for 6+ years that I just loaded $500 in for some data purposes. GBP USD, nothing there. We'll keep coming along. USD CAD. This is another one. I know some people are in some trades. If you took trades this week, here's an account that took some trades this week. It's now in 5% drawdown. You saw that spike. Now waiting on a nice reversal. Of course, when spikes like this randomly happen in the market, which happened on many pairs this week, you might score great trades, or you might get stuck in a trend that might hit another stop loss, might bump up to 2, right? It's possible, but I know that a lot of people have already been in this trade for a while and it's just been going up and up. So we should see a significant reversal right here down to the take profit. NZD USD as well took some trades this week. So I know a lot of people should have gotten some GearBox trades this week. I know one thing is definitely not that people did not get trades this week. I did see, though, some people getting margin called, which no account should even been close to margin call unless you're trading on very low leverage. And I've seen some people frustrated come into the traders chat this week and say, hey, why'd this close out these trades? And you're going to need to talk to your broker, and you're going to need to look at your leverage and your margin stop out percent. And this is another thing about why I only trade with A-book brokers with the leverage and the requirements I want, because they're not all built the same. Now we can have that talk on here. I can't recommend any. I can't tell you to use any different ones. I can just tell you that they these brokers do not play friendly. So let's get into my FX book and talk a little bit about it. Alexander, hi Tyler. If I'm in a sequence on some pair and, for example, levels 2 through 5 and accidentally close position 2, will GearBox still manage the sequence? I've not ever closed a trade from the top. Yeah, it will manage it because it's just like hitting a stop loss. So yeah, actually, when I think about it, yeah, I don't manage that, no problem. But yeah, that's a weird one for me. I've never done that. Only stop losses take out my initial trades. Swing mode is most conservative. Super sniper is aggressive and sniper is between. Correct? No, Ryan, absolutely incorrect. Swing would be the least conservative, sniper the second most conservative, and super sniper being the most conservative. So you have that one backwards. You'll see that I did hit some stop losses this week. We're going to take a look at my account. USD CAD definitely took us out. I got into a higher drawdown. I went from 17.7% to 20% for the first time since we started this account on these USD CAD and GBP AUD trades. That's what I've been stuck in. You can see GBP AUD and USD CAD here. We definitely took a bit of a loss here so far in August. The first losing month on this account since we started. So important to note that we have not had one losing month since I started this account. We took some stops last month, didn't lose. This is the first losing month, which, we'll probably regain some of this when these trades swing, and we'll probably end August down, 4% or something, which is okay for me. I can handle that. But yeah, most likely these trades swing. We'll bring back that equity curve, and we'll probably end August, as long as these trades swing before August ends, with a slower month for sure. But overall, again, this is showing you how we handle and manage risk. Is it always going to be rainbow and sunshines and profit? Not always. There might be a losing month every once in a while, but that's a big part of it, is being able to actually take a loss every once in a while and be able to manage that risk. My other accounts didn't experience this because, again, all my accounts are in different trades. Not all of them were in USD CAD and GBP AUD. If you were in USD CAD and GBP AUD for a month or two and that big move just happened, chances are you might have taken a stop loss. And again, that's a part of it. You're going to take losses every once in a while. But let's go over here, take a look at the one pair data. we can see that, these accounts did not experience those losses. So again, everyone is trading pretty differently sometimes. Some accounts experience losses. I have times where accounts experience losses here that haven't experienced them again. It all kind of depends on when you get into the trade. Everyone gets into the trades a little differently, and different brokers, different feeds, different environments. Let's take a look. Jan says, I'm up 7% this month. Yep. And like I said, everyone's account's going to trade a little differently. Some people might have had a stop loss on a USD CAD or GBP AUD, and somebody like you, Jan, may not have even gotten into those two trades and gotten into two different trades. So again, it is a little independent, depending on your setup, your settings, your strategy. And that's why I come with all this data. I constantly want to share data on performance and things, but even my swing accounts, there's times where, I take a look at GBP AUD here, and even though I hit a stop loss on it, this actually, this one hasn't reflected that first stop loss. I just hit one, was $30, which is about 10% of the profit so far. So yeah, normal stop loss. So that one should reflect soon, that hit. I see it hasn't. We're like, there's a time where Euro AUD, you see, February, we took a hit. We made it all back now. But there's definitely times with some of these more trending pairs and things that every once in a while you might take a stop and you make it back. So it's all part of the strategy. Let me read through. Hey, Tyler, in your experience, is it ever worth paying fixed commissions on trades rather than paying swap fees when pairs trend longer? No, Max. The reason I say that is there are times where the swaps are positive. And what I mean by that is there's always a positive swap and a negative swap for the most part. And if you're on the side with the positive swap, there's been times where I've gotten paid to hold trades. So no, I'd rather pay the swap fees, and always have, because fixed commissions add up and tend to actually eat more. You got to do your own mathematical equation. But for me, what I've realized with a broker that charges quote unquote fixed commissions is really, they just find ways to get the same money. It's just all a big disguise game, whether they give you a higher commission, but then your spread's much higher too, and you don't notice, or they don't make it show you have a higher spread, but then they spread manipulate to make that money. I mean, it all depends on what kind of broker you're using, but I've typically not seen very positive things from swap free accounts in terms of B booking. Let's see. So looking at more of these, you can see there's times where, like I said, things will hit a stop. I had GBP CAD, we were able to stop at one point. Euro AUD, we showed had done that and it made it back. There's times where these things will happen, and all you can do is learn from them and those experiences. So, again, here's data on the week, seeing how many pairs did this month. Between all these accounts, we did 10%, which is incredible. Between all of the one pair data accounts, which really, that's what you look to do. I look to average out between all my accounts between 6 to 10% really a month. If we can do that conservatively with low risk, that's how you compound true wealth. Will there be losses along the way? Absolutely. Will you hit a stop every once in a while? Absolutely. Nothing wins 100% of the time. You're never going to have perfectly winning months every month. And I think that's another psychology people need to have, like my 10K tracking account ran out of stop loss that none of my other accounts did. Right. And that'll happen. We look at my 2000. No, never railed it. It's 500, never railed it. So the risk is going to be a little different depending on who you are, your broker, your trading account, your margin, your leverage. And again, for anybody who took a loss that was not a stop loss and came in the chat, there was a few people that messaged me, hey, why'd this close out my trades? And if it's not a stop loss from that physical software, putting a 500 pip stop loss or whatever stop loss you put, The only reason a trade would ever close out is your broker has lower leverage on your account and you margin called, or you have an equity protector protecting your overall balance and you hit that period of drawdown and closed out your trades. Trades won't close out for no reason. It's either from a setting you designed and put in, or from your broker having low leverage and low stop out margin percent, or a high margin stop out percent, I should say. So definitely, if you experienced anything like that, definitely figure out what your leverage was. Definitely figure out what your margin stop out was. Figure out if your broker is even an A-book broker. And then from there, it can tell you a lot more about why you experienced that loss. So let's get into the week ahead and see what is going on. So if we go to Forex Factory here, we are going to click the next week ahead. And we're going to start out Monday with some Euro red folder news events. We make it all the way to Thursday before we see a USD red folder and do the prelim GDP. We also have the Jackson Hole Symposium, which apparently will affect all currency pairs. You see this word right here, all. All means all currency pairs affected. So Thursday, we have an all pair event. USD has core PCE price index on Friday as well. Fed Chair Powell speaks. And then again, Jackson Hole Symposium. And that also continues into Saturday where, you know, it obviously becomes not very important to look at. But that is the whole week ahead here for us. So nothing too crazy. A few red folders on Euro and USD and an all event. But it isn't looking like a crazy week. Let me check the chat here. What's the worst case scenario with CHF pairs? I'm in a fairly large sequence. Maximilian, I'm glad you asked this, and I'm going to just pull up a notice real quick. Give me a second. I don't want to explain it too in detail because it's even a little over my head, but I'm going to show you something. It's an email that's going to be going out from some liquidity providers that provide liquidity to brokers in the space. So this isn't something the brokers are doing. This is something that the liquidity providers that actually provide the liquidity to the banks and the brokers are enforcing until further notice. Some brokers might let you have the higher leverage still, but chances are they're going to B-book you and make a fortune on it. Brokers that have your best interests are probably actually going to put out this message that you're going to see. And I'm just going to pull it up real quick. Yeah, so you guys can understand there's a big the liquidity providers actually have sent an update out, but I'm going to still just read you guys this. The liquidity providers have decided to put leverage at 1 in 50 instead of 1 in 10 on some of these brokers. So that's good news. But let me just read you this notice. So this is a notice that has been getting passed around by some different liquidity providers. And I'm just going to read this to you guys. Some of you might have some questions about this, what this actually means. This might be over some of your heads completely, as you know, it's something that I've investigated for a long time. I've understood what happened in 2015. So in January 2015, the Swiss National Bank had a policy of intervening in the currency markets to maintain a formal peg on the Euro CHF of 120. They operated a policy effectively selling Swiss francs in order to buy foreign currency denominated assets. Under sustained pressure from capital flows as a result of market activity, the SNB removed the peg, which led to a volatility shock and several trading companies and brokers going under. This was 2015. Auvoria UK was one of those brokers and liquidity providers, went dissolvent, which was a global leading broker and liquidity provider. They were B-booking during this event and they were on the wrong side of the trade. So in intervening this period, the Swiss franc has appreciated in value, and there are currently market rumors that the SNB is looking to maintain a Euro CHF at a rate above 105. The implication of this is effectively that there is an implied peg at 105. This theory seems to be somewhat supported by investment activity of the SNB. It was reported yesterday by Catherine Blasley at Bloomberg that the Swiss National Bank appeared to intervene in the currency market to weaken the Swiss franc, as indicated by the increase in funds held by commercial banks with institutions for 2 weeks running. The reserves of foreign currency denominated assets held by the SNB passed CHF 1 trillion for the first time at the end of July, compared to less than CHF 600 billion at the same time in January 2015, which was the DPEG event. According to an article in the Financial Times by Sam Jones, this means that the Swiss National Bank now has an investment portfolio which is larger than most of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds. While we don't know if anything will happen with reference to the above, in order to protect clients from volatility shock, today at 9 p.m. MT4 server time, the leverage in the following pairs will be lowered to 1 in 10, which I actually just got notice it'll be 1 in 50 instead. They're not going to be as aggressive with the leverage change, but all CHF pairs will be affected, and you should get in contact with your broker. This may not affect all brokers, but many liquidity providers around the world, due to the events that happened in 2015, are also taking a similar approach. So I would get with your broker, maybe even take a screenshot of this and send it to your broker support and ask if any effect is happening to your brokerage or liquidity margin requirements. They should also be sending you out notices of their own if there are any changes. But this is a notice that's been going around since about 24 hours ago that takes effect tonight. So just something to think about, as 2015, this Swiss franc event and the events that led up to this did cause bankers going bust, liquidity providers going bust, and just something to have in mind for those of you who tune in on these calls. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. That is all of my my notes for today, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday wherever you may be in the world, and I look forward to another amazing trading week ahead. Thank you all so much.